welcome to another video. My name is Brandon. Today we're going to go over the FX-C wheel from Simagic. For those of you that don't know, I've been sim racing for about 4 years, and I just recently got into the Simagic ecosystem, and I really like their products. So today we're going to unbox this and show you it. So I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Kind of shows the outline of the steering wheel when you open it. The steering wheel's inside of a bag. Looks like a nice reusable bag too if you want to keep the wheel inside of it. But yeah, the wheel's really nice. It's actually pretty heavy, but it feels very solid. Got some nice buttons on it. The shifters, magnetic shifters. And then you got the 2 clutch paddles on the bottom. USB input, probably for software updates, I would assume, because I know it's a wireless wheel. When you put it on their wheelbase, maybe you could hook it up to other wheelbases with that. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked that far into it. Got some rotary encoders, a little funky switch on it. So steering wheel is very nice. I'm not going to go over too much detail on it. There's a lot of other videos out there about it. But it is packaged nicely. They do a very good job with the shipping and making sure everything's not going to get damaged during shipping. So that's something I really do like to see. And obviously the outside of the box, I mean, it looks pretty nice as well. And then we also got, I have another steering wheel on the way. It hasn't shown up yet, so that's why it's not in this video. But what I did get was, this is a wall mount for the steering wheel. So you can also bolt it right to the rig. And it also comes with some extra hardware, so that way you can actually bolt it right to your aluminum profile rig. It comes with an Allen key, and then the the part that slides into the little T area on the aluminum profile, then a screw for it as well that goes into the actual mount itself. So I thought that was pretty neat that they actually put that in with it, so you don't have to source one. And it is really nice. I thought it was actually made out of plastic, but it's not. It's actually aluminum. So it's a pretty solid mount. And I just got it because I wanted to keep the wheel off of the ground. I didn't want it like, the leather one, I didn't want it sitting on the ground on the leather and then make an imprint on it. So that's really the reason why I got it. And it also just looks nice to have it either on the wall or on the rig. So next, let's go over the wheelbase. Here's the wheelbase. Pretty basic packaging. So you figure out where it opens. Now, one thing I'm going to point out, it's pretty heavy, so keep that in mind. But if you look at the packaging, you can see how there's like a smaller section up here. That's the top. So make sure you open it with that on top. Otherwise, your motor's going to probably fall out. Slide this out of here. That's probably for me. I had this opened already, so I probably folded my sticker inside there. So that's my fault. It's not something they did, because I do remember seeing this and it wasn't folded. But you do get this decal, and then you get a bag full of a bunch of other decals, which I'm sure a lot of other people have shown in their videos. That's one thing about Simagic, is they definitely make sure they give you a lot of decals. Warranty card. Every product that I've ever gotten from them does come with a warranty card. And see how nicely everything's packaged in there. So this is your stop switch. Comes with a USB. Also comes with your cat line as well. Ethernet. This is a power supply. Now I did notice there were some other videos that I had seen, and I wasn't sure if this was going to be the case or not, but I did notice that some guys were saying that they don't have a power on-off switch for the actual wheelbase. Well, this one looks like they incorporated it. So now you can shut the wheelbase on and off just with that switch. I'm hoping it's in a good spot. That way I don't have to reach behind my rig to get to it, because that was the case with my old wheel. So we'll find out when we go to mount this. And that is definitely a video that we're going to be doing today as well. Got some more of those T-slots and some bolts to mount. Looks like another bag of bolts to mount as well. And I think some of these longer bolts in here are actually to mount the stop switch. That's what it looks like from the length of them. And then this is your power supply, which is incredibly small. I'm actually really surprised by that because my last wheel had a pretty big control module for it. So I think on this one, I'm pretty sure that's just the power supply, and I think the control module is actually built into the wheelbase itself. And this is the wheelbase. So the one that I ordered, by the way, all this stuff that I have, I paid for all this myself. None of this was sent to me by any kind of promotions or anything like that. So this was all my own money on this. But this is the Simagic Alpha U. So this is the top wheelbase that they make right now. And it's, I noticed that thing lights up when you turn the wheel. It looks like it makes some kind of power. It's very heavy, but it's very solid. Got some mounting areas on the bottom, some on the sides as well, some on the front. So you got multiple different ways that you can mount this wheelbase. Now what I'm gonna do, I just ordered a GT Omega Prime cockpit, and I'm actually going to mount this to the bottom mount. I do have a servo mount for it as well, but I'm not going to use the servo mount because I really don't see any benefit to using it. I would like to have a front mount, but to be honest with you, the cost of another mount is $200, and I just don't see the value of $200 more spent to do I think it's going to do the same thing. So I'm not really sure. Maybe somebody could tell me in the comments below if that's not the case, but that's just the way I feel about it. Anyway, let's get this bolted up and see how it feels. This wheelbase that we're taking off right now, this is the AccuForce Pro V2. It's been a really good wheelbase. I've had it since 2020, and honestly, I have no complaints. It's really a nice wheel. Now, one thing I will note, this is the GT Omega Prime cockpit, and it said that the AccuForce is compatible with it. Now, when I went to put mine on, it actually wasn't compatible. There's two holes in the front, two front holes for the mounting. Those lined up. The two in the back did not. So I actually had to drill the holes to make it work, which I guess it really wasn't that big of a deal, but it was just technically, they said it was compatible, but it didn't line up. So I had to drill those holes. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Nice thing is it is aluminum, so it's a little bit easier to drill through than metal is. Always make sure your wires are clear of your snippers, or else you'll go right through them. And that's one headache you definitely do not want. Hopefully this will just stay.
We got your lunch made tomorrow.
All right, thanks, babe.
You want me to bring your food down?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
That's the missus. This should just come right on out here. Tell you what, these direct drive wheels, they are not light. All right. No. This guy lined up. I did already check, and the holes on the bottom of this do line up with this GT Omega plate. For those of you that are wondering, it does line up. I like to thread them in by hand, so that way I know I'm not going to strip anything. Now, one thing I did notice, the head of the screws are very close to the size of the hole. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to basically push them all the way back. So that way there's a good amount of the head actually just contact on the actual base plate. Also helps center it all up. honest with you, I'm gonna probably go to the hardware store and I'm gonna get some better bolts. I'm gonna get ones that are just slightly longer, and I'm gonna get some that have washers, so that way those holes are not a problem. Because right now I'm noticing when I tighten it down, the actual head of the bolt is kind of like going crooked once you start snugging it down. Because let me show this, because I want you guys to see this. All right, so sorry for the poor quality, but here's what I wanted to show you. So if you look underneath, you can see how the head of the bolt is really close to the size of these holes. And what's going on is I tighten it down. There's nothing underneath this part of the bolt on the top there. So what it does is the actual bolt just kind of like, it starts coming into that hole. And basically what that'll do is it'll break the head of that bolt off if you make it too tight. So right now it's good enough for me to just at least test it. But that needs to be changed. So hopefully they'll start incorporating maybe some longer screws and put some washers in the bags just for situations like this. At any moment in this video, if you find any of the information helpful, I would appreciate you hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel, so that way you can get notified of any videos that I do come out with. All right, so we got the wheelbase hooked up, and now we're going to put the new steering wheel on. That's pretty cool. It actually feels pretty good too. The distance is about just right. That pretty much does it for this video. This wheelbase and this wheel, I really do like it a lot. It's definitely feels a lot different than my other wheel. The other wheel was a nice wheel and wheelbase, but this one just, you could definitely feel a little bit more detail with it, and it's smoother. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, and the install went pretty smoothly as well. And I did end up changing those bolts out underneath and put some better ones in there, a little bit bigger heads on them, so that way I won't have any more issues with that. And I do recommend you check that on yours before you install it and crank those down to make sure that they're not going to give you any kind of trouble. But other than that, I just want to thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you guys on the next one.